Good evening, students. Today we'll look at another subtopic that is SQL constraints. Hope you have gone through my previous videos, and the last one that I uploaded was how to convert an ER diagram into a relational database. Hope you have gone through it. So we are into a stage wherein we are now completely aware, if given a problem statement, then how to convert that problem statement into ER diagram, and that ER diagram, if correctly built, how to convert that ER diagram into a relational database wherein we are in a position to decide which all are the tables. Now coming to the next aspect, create statement was already over in one of my lectures. Now this lecture is about SQL constraints. Now let us try and understand as to what we mean by constraints. Now constraints are nothing but rules. They are some enforced rules about what kind of data should be put into certain table. That is nothing but constraint. So let's read it out for you. What is a constraint? So we would normally define it as, are the rules enforced on the data columns of a table. So the constraints can be either column level or they can be table level. So if the constraint is column level, then it is applied to only one column, and if it is a table level, then it is applied to the whole table. Okay, so this is what is meant by the and this is what is So this is what is meant by a SQL constraint. Now let's go to the types of constraints that we are going to look at. So there are six types of constraints that we are going to look at today. One is not null constraint. Then is default constraint, unique constraint, primary key constraint, foreign key constraint, and we are also going to look at check constraint. Okay, these are the various types. Now what do you mean by not null constraint? Now the column which wherein if you apply this not null constraint, that means the column will no longer be able to have the null value. Okay, and that means you cannot leave it blank. You have to put in some null value. It cannot be a null value. Okay, so it has to have some value. That is what is null value. So not null constraint. Default, you can have some default value put for a column. For example, if I have certain column in my table as city, and I expect the person to write his city where he stays as the input for this particular column, but I have not mentioned it as not null, so I have not put the constraint as not null. That means he might put the value or he might leave it just blank. In case he leaves it blank, then in that case what happens is a default value I can set. So I can define that the default for let me just write it here. Default for this particular city is maybe Belgaum. Okay, so Belgaum. So in that case, what is happening is, in case he has left it blank and is not entered what which city he stays in, then Belgaum is what is the input which will be put there as a default value. So automatically it becomes Belgaum. Okay, hope I have made it clear. So this is what is the meaning of the default value. Then is unique. You can also ensure that certain column has unique value. For example, if there is a column called student USN or student ID, so definitely I have ID is something which is unique for any person. Employee ID, for example, if it is an employee table and I have employee ID there, then in that case I'm expecting that each and every person should have unique ID. So I can mention that it is unique. Okay, that constraint I can put. In that case, what will happen? Supposingly I have already put 112 as the ID for one particular person, and mistakenly later while entering the data again I try and put 112 for some other person, then it will not allow me to put it, and it will say there is unique constraint and you are supposed to put a unique value, and 112 is something which is already there for certain other employee, so it is unique. It will not allow duplicate values. This is what is unique. Then is primary key. So I can assign any particular the column as primary key. Primary key, I have already introduced this term to you, that primary key is some column which will help me uniquely identify any row or record in the database table. For example, same thing, if I have an ID, student ID, for example, let me write it as student ID in a student table, being decided as primary key. So what is the intention to have declare it as primary key is all its values, sorry, okay, so all its values. For example, first value, maybe the first student ID is 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, you know, so on. So what is the intention? That once I fetch a student's record with the student ID 1, that row will be fetched, and definitely there is no other one in the entire column. So that means one roll number 1 or student ID 1 refers to that particular row only. So I can fetch all the other records with the help of student ID 1, and student ID 2 definitely refers to this particular column, and student ID 3 definitely refers to the third and the fourth, and so on. So this is what is meant by the use of primary key. Now let's see what do we mean by foreign key. Okay, so foreign key is what is it? Foreign key is a key or a column which refers to another column in another table, which is a primary key there. Okay, so let me just give you an example here. For example, if there was a student table, and I had student ID there, and it is a primary key. Okay, primary key, and I have certain records here. So there are certain records, and there is another table which is marks table, definitely in the same database, and I have there as well a student ID, maybe name also is the same, and I have couple of records there. So this is made a foreign key. What is this doing? This foreign key is referring to the primary key of another table wherein it is a primary key. So this roll number 1 is the same for the same student in this table. So if I am referring to here roll number 1, this roll number 1 referring to one particular student, and roll number 1 for certain student here, both students are the same. Okay, it's referring to the same student. So this is what is foreign key. So it uniquely identifies a row or a record in any other table. Okay, so this is what is foreign key. Then check constraints. Now there's another concept which is known as check constraint, wherein I can give some particular kind of condition and check for that condition. For example, if I want the student age to be more than certain, more than 18 to take admission in our college or something like that in some certain course, then I can mention it, that check whether age is greater than 17 or less, or between this certain, maybe there is a certain database wherein they are there's some job opening and they're checking for the age of the person to be between certain to certain age group. So that range I can give, so more than 20 or 21, and maybe less than 35 or 40, which is the ultimate aim, ultimate age for which the person can apply for that job. So this can be mentioned with the check ID, check constraint. So these are all the type of constraints that I can have. So let me just repeat it. So you can see there is not null constraint, there is default constraint, there is unique, there is primary key, foreign key, and check constraint. So there are 6 constraints that we are going to talk about. So let's go ahead. We will just briefly introduce ourselves to these, and as and when I execute the commands in front of you, you will better understand the usability of all these commands. But for now, we'll just get introduced and know the meaning of them. Okay, so the first one is not null. So I can declare any column of a certain table to be not null value. Okay, and once I declare it as not null, the name itself is obvious, not null. It cannot have a null value. So it cannot have a null value. For example, it has been, I have just pasted an example also. For example, in the create command, now create command we have already got introduced to, so please brush up the create command, the syntax, so that you better understand this constraint concept. So create table student. So what is the syntax for create command? It simply goes create table name. So create table is a table is a keyword, so it will go as it is. Only thing is table name can go different depending on what table you are trying to make. So create table, and then table name, the table that I'm trying to create is student table, and then I have ID here. Okay, then I have data type. So the name of the column and the data type of the column separated by the other column with the name and followed by the data type. That is how it is supposed to be. So I'll just simply say the column name, that is ID, its data type is integer, okay, and the length that I expect is maximum 6 and not null. That means the ID column can never be left blank. Okay, so not null, it cannot be null. Okay, it has to have some ID. No student can be without ID. Makes sense, right? No student in the college is without USN or without ID. Okay, so not null. And then comma, obviously I said it is separated by comma from the other columns. So the next column is name, and then variable character varchar. What is the maximum length? 10. And then I say not null. That means any student taking admission in certain college, I'll just try and make sense to what I'm trying to do here. Any person who is taking admission to a college has to have the ID and has to have the name. So it cannot be left blank, right? So not null, I've put the constraint, not null. It can never be blank. Okay, so separated by a comma. Then the third column is address varchar 20. Now see here, for the address nothing has been specified as not null. That means the address can be null, it can be left blank, or it can have null value. So that is okay for the for our database here, or for our table that we have created here. You might as well give it as not null if you desire so, but then just to give you the the taste of the variation that can happen. So the variation here is there are 3 columns. So what will the table look like? There is a student table. Okay, so there is a student table. Now what are the 3 columns in it? One is ID column, so there is a ID column. Okay, the next column is name column, so there is a name column. And then the third one is address column, so there is address column. Okay, address column. So now ID and name have been declared as not null, wherein address has not been specified as not null, so it might have null values. Okay, so this is what is the introduction to not null concept. We will practically though execute it once and we will try and understand it. So this was the introduction of not null. Now next is unique. Okay, unique as in I want all the column in for certain column, I want the column the row values to be different, each to have unique value. For example, id, every student has to have a different id. Can I have two students with roll id 10, or can I have two students with id 20, or 12 or 11? Can I have two students? No. So in certain for certain inputs that we take, we expect that different numbers are there. For example, if we are at GI working at GIT, so each one of us has an employee ID which is printed on our IDs. So do you expect that can you entertain any entry like the entry wherein two or three or more than that number of the employees have the same employee ID? Will that make sense? No. That is why there are certain entries in certain tables wherein you have to compulsorily make it unique, the constraint wherein you have to make sure that each one of the employee, each one of the student, each one of the row entry is unique. Okay, so that is that constraint. So this constraint helps to uniquely identify each row in the table. So now let us look at the example here. It simply goes, hope you have got accustomed to the create table command. If you have got accustomed to the create table command, you should be able to relate to this very perfectly. Now look at this. Create table is keyword. You will write it as it is. Then comes the table name. So create table, table name. Table name here is student. In the bracket, I will write all columns followed by the data types. So column name, data type, column name, data type, column name, data type. Okay, bracket complete and semicolon. And when you enter, press the enter key, it executes. Now look at this. ID, the data type is integer 6. 6 is the maximum length that I can have, and it says not null. It cannot be null. I have introduced you already. And then it says it is also unique. That means no two IDs can be same. No two students can have ID 1 or 3 or 10 or 15. All have to be different. Okay, then we have name with a variable character varchar 10, address varchar 10. So this is about the unique ID. Okay, unique constraint. Now let's go to the primary key. Primary key is the mere reason why we include primary key is it helps us uniquely identify any particular row with the help of one or two columns which are declared as primary key. For example, if I have declared ID as primary key, then using all the rows within that ID, for example, roll number 1, roll number 2, roll number 3, using roll number 1, I can fetch the entire row. Roll number ID 2, I can fetch the entire row with whatever fields I want to enter. Maybe there are fields like name is there, then address is there, and then maybe marks are also there in that table. So I can fetch whatever I want from that table using only one aspect, because I know they are all unique. There are no two. When I refer to ID1, then I'm very sure that this is unique. That is the primarily the characteristics of a primary key. Primary key is unique for each one of the row. Okay, or vice versa. I will choose such a column as primary key wherein the entries are unique. Either which way. So goes hand in hand. So that is what is the primary key. Now how do I make any particular column? I have already given you example when I was giving you the example of create table, but little brush up here. So it simply goes create table, table name. So my table name is student, then ID, the first column, the data type is int 6, it is not null, it is unique, then is comma. Okay, so second column starts name, data type, comma, third column, address, data type, and then I've finished all the three columns. Now what happens, I want to make one of these columns. There are three columns. One is ID column, okay, there is name column, and then there is address column in this particular table, student table. Now I can see that name is something which can be duplicated. Any two students can have the same name. We do realize that. Address also can be same. They are staying in same city, they are in the same colony. So many of the aspects of address will be same. So it can get duplicated. Maybe they are brother sister staying in the same house, or it can be exactly the same also. That is what. So address also can be duplicated. So there's only left out one column which can have unique values. So I'll make this as primary key. Now how to make it as primary key? I'll simply say primary key, primary space key, and in the bracket I will write the name of the column which I want to make it as primary key. So I will just say ID, in the bracket. So now ID will become the primary key. So this is what is meant by the primary key concept. So now let's go to the foreign key. Now I've already told you the mere reason foreign key is there is because first thing, I do not want duplication of data. So what I have already stored in one table, I do not want to keep storing in different tables. So duplication of data will be there, simply memory will be there, and then there is the integrity of the data is also not maintained. Okay, so there is, if certain changes you make in one table, you forget to make the same changes in the other table wherein the same column you have maintained, then in that case it is a problem. So you have to avoid all that, you have a concept like foreign key, and I have already told you how to make a foreign key or what is the meaning of foreign key, and it helps you establish the relationship. In the last video when I was talking about the how to convert the ER diagram into the different tables and how to decide it, then I have told you how to talk about how to decide about primary key and the foreign key concept. Okay, so this is what is foreign key. So how to make a foreign key now? So let's look at the example here. Create table. There is a table called as orders. Then in the bracket, first column name is order underscore ID. So that's the column name. So first column name. Data type is integer. I have not mentioned the maximum length. So it can have any length. Not null, comma. So that is done with the first column. Second column, order number, integer, not null. So two of the columns have not null now. Third column, CID, which is integer. I have not mentioned it as not null. So that means it can have null values. Now I want to declare, so there are three columns here. So you can see there is order ID. Okay. Then there is order number, okay, and then there is CID, customer ID. Okay, so I have decided that I want to make this column order ID as the primary key. So how do I make it? We have already seen primary key, and in the bracket I'll merely write order ID. So order ID has become primary key. So this is done. Now how to make primary key? Similarly, I will say foreign key and in the bracket the foreign key that I want to make. So I want to make CID as foreign key. So foreign key, that means this foreign key will relate to some column in some other table which is a primary key there. Okay, so that will help you have a relational database which will establish the relationship between different tables. Now column ID, okay, and then that I have said make CID as foreign key, and I also mentioned where it is referencing. So references, where does it refer? It refers to customers the table and CID there. So there is another table which is customers table. So there is a customers table, and in that customers table there is CID and this CID is primary key here, this CID is going to be referring to this or this foreign key actually, vice versa. This foreign key, we have done the schema diagram, remember? So I'll just try and draw it the similar way. So this line goes here and an arrow mark I'll draw here. That means this side it is the primary key. So CID is the primary key, and the foreign key is the CID in this particular table, that is the orders table. So this is the orders table. This was the orders table, right? So in orders table, CID whatever is there, it is the foreign key, and I have drawn an arrow mark here which is referring to customers table with CID, which is a primary key there. So this is what is meant by the foreign key. So I have established the relationship between them. Now a couple of other things for foreign key. Now because of foreign key, what happens is, we have talked about referential integrity, remember? There were two types of integrities we talked about. Okay, so referential integrity is wherein we talk about in foreign key whatever data is there, same data should be there in the primary key. For example, in the prior table, in orders, under orders, the table, there is the customer ID, right? So this should have the same entries like customers table under CID. Okay, so whatever entries are here should be here, and whatever entries are here should be here. So what happens is, when I establish the relationship between them with the help of foreign key and primary key, if there is any entry which is deleted here, supposingly one particular customer is no more dealing with the company. If I have customer number 101, okay, being deleted, then automatically with the help of referential integrity, because we have this relationship developed, all 101 will be automatic. The moment I delete this, I can make it sure that 101 is deleted here also. So there will be no false data or illegal or not valid data existing in the tables. So I'll not have 101 existing here and not existing here. Okay, the moment it gets deleted from the primary table, it will get deleted from the child table. This is known as, orders will be known as child table, because it is borrowing the entries in the foreign key from the primary key. Okay, so this is what is the meaning. Okay, so let's go here. So we can have something like on delete, what should be done, on update, what should be done. Those constraints I can put using foreign key. I can say on delete cascade. Cascade means what? See here, the term cascade. The moment I say on delete cascade means that the moment 101 is deleted from the primary table, wherein it is a primary key, from that table, automatically the same entry, for the customer ID 101, the entire row will be deleted from the child table, that is orders. Why it is a child table? Because it is child table because it is the foreign key here. Okay, so that is what is the meaning. So I can say on delete, you can just cascade. On update also cascade. What do you mean by on update cascade? That means if this is updated, for example, I have mistakenly I have done some update here for some customer 101, his address has changed or his phone number has changed. So in that row, apart from this ID, there was phone number, so it is changed. Automatically, the moment I update here, it will be updated in the child table. The moment I update in the parent table, automatically it will be updated in the child table. So this is what is on update cascade. On delete cascade. On delete cascade means on delete, whatever changes you have made here should be reflected in the child table. On update also, whatever changes are reflected should be reflected in the child table. So this is what is the meaning. So this is about the foreign key concept. Okay, So this is what I have explained, tried to explain here. Delete cascade. So that means when it is deleted, automatically the changes will be reflected in the child table. The moment it is the parent table is updated, automatically it will be updated in the child table. So this is what is the meaning of these two. So these two constraint also I'll show you as to how to write it, but as per now you just keep it pending, or maybe I can show you now. So if you can just try and figure it out here. So let's go to the line here. It says foreign key D number. So the all the columns are already put up here. So dot dot dot. So go back for the example. I have already shown you the examples were huge, so it is just dot 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 which is put here. So I expect that all the columns are already generated or already created here, and then the constraints are being put. So come to the constraint. We'll talk about all the other constraints also, but particularly we are talking about foreign key. So let's jump to the particular line where foreign key is being mentioned. So foreign key D number. So D number is already created, it is not null, and there is some default value being given here. Okay, so it can have a default value. So it is just mentioned default one, but then you have to give that default value there depending on what kind of data type. It is integer, so some kind of integer value you have to give. Okay, now go here. It says make that D number as foreign key, and it is referring to department D number. So you can see department also has some column as D number, and that is definitely a primary key there. It has not been mentioned because dot dot dot, that means we take it for granted all these are created. These all tables have been shown to you in the prior lectures. Please go back, or maybe you can search in the PDF. So it's just imagine that D number is one column which is there. Okay, so department, so it is not department NO, it is number. So the name here is number. Okay, so D number. Okay, what does it say further? It says on delete set default. So on delete, what have I said? I have not said cascade, I have said set default. So I can say set default, some value I can give here. I can say set default 0 1, or maybe whatever 0 0 maybe, or just 0. So whatever. So but a integer value obviously, because D number is taking integer value. So I can set some default. So I can say if it is deleted, then it is default number 100, or on update cascade. And it is also told on update. On update means whenever department D number is updated, then cascade, that means the same update should be reflected in this D number. Okay, so automatically it should be updated. That is what is the meaning here. So these kind of constraints we can have. So this is what was about the cascade and default. So this was all about the foreign key concept. So how important is the foreign key, you must have understood when I am giving you particularly why we should have the relationship between the tables. This makes our thing so very easy. Now check. So there's another concept. What is check constraint? I can have some restriction being put on some particular column. For example, I want the age to be greater than or equal to 18. So look at the example here. Create table. Table name is student. The column name in the bracket. First column data type not null, comma. Second column data type not null. Then third column data type not null. And then I also mention, I don't finish the bracket, and I mention further saying that this particular column, that is age, you have to check whether the column name, that is age, is greater than or equal to 18. So if you try and put age equal to 15 or 12 or 7 or 5, it will not allow you, saying that you are violating the constraint. Okay, so this is what is the meaning. So you can check the with the check command or check constraint. So this is what is check command. Then is default. I have already mentioned I can have a default value. So I look at the example, create table name. So table name is student. So I have id, the column name, data type, not null, separated by comma, name, the second column, data type, not null. And then I have third column, which is age. Its data type is integer, and I say default 18. So by default it is 18. That means I have not mentioned it as not null. So in case I have not mentioned, I'm saying I have not mentioned it as not null. That means age can have null value. Age can have null value, as in the person might skip entering the age. In case he skips entering the age, then in that case what default value will automatically get inserted there? 18. Okay, so this is what is default value. Okay, so this is the next constraint. So all these have been mentioned here. So you can see default, how to mention the default value. So d number, integer, not null, and I have some default value. I can mention it. Maybe d number is 1, or d number is 10. Automatically d number default value, some value. Okay, then I can give some constraint name also. So I can say constraint emppk, employee primary key, and then I mention what is, which one is my primary key. So then I say primary key is ssn. So that means what? This entire thing has been given a constraint name. This constraint has been named as emppk. So I can do any kind of manipulation. The moment I see emppk, it will definitely refer to this particular constraint. So similarly, you can see constraint emp super fk, foreign key. So some appropriate name has been given. Now this constraint is referring to whom? To this entire thing here. So this entire thing which is mentioning that foreign key has to be this, which is going to refer employee ssn, and then on delete it is going to set null, on update it is going to cascade. This entire thing has been named with certain name, and that is what is emp super fk. So a huge name though, but then yes, this is what is the name given to it. So I can give name to it, and I think rest all things I have already explained. So you can see in the other tables also, see a constraint has been given name, department p key. What is the constraint? Primary key constraint. Another constraint has been given the name sk. What is the constraint? Unique key constraint. Now another constraint has been named as department mgr. So what is the constraint? It is the entire foreign key constraint, wherein I tell on key, on delete what has to be done, on update what has to be done, and so on. So these are the various constraints, and with examples. So having done that, having covered, so this is again students an important, extremely important from practical point of view, because now we are going to start our practicals. We'll try and execute certain queries practically on the systems and see what kind of effect they have. Now definitely these constraints, all these constraints that I told you, are of extreme importance for you. In your job interviews also you might be asked what are the different constraints. So from future point of view as well, these are very important concepts. And yes, again, from exam point of view as well, you might be asked, mention the type of constraints and give example. In the book they have not mentioned them as different points as I have mentioned them here. So I've tried to break them up into parts so that I'm able to, for ease of definitely my lecture, and definitely it is important from your angle as well, because if asked the question, and definitely it is a full-fledged question of it should be asked for 10 marks, because it looks worth, because so many points, 6 the constraints to be explained with example. So definitely there's lots to explain, lots to elaborate on. So this should be looked at from the angle of 10 marks as to what are the different constraints. And definitely from practical point of view also it is very important. Now the next thing that we are taking up are again a full-fledged 10 mark question as to what are the different data types in DBMS. So what are the basic data types? So this is also important for our practicals and even for theory. Okay, so these so in this lecture particularly I have tried to cover two very important aspects from practical point of view, yes, and from theory point of view also important from the point of view of examination. It can be asked as a full-fledged 10 mark question, or here and there they can ask a short question also. But then however these are the two important aspects. Let's go to the next one, that is basic data types. So what are the basic data types? Numeric data types are the first category, numeric data types. So what all can I use? So if I want an integer number entry, then I can mention it as complete, spell it integer, or I can just mention it as an int that we just saw in a couple of examples, or small int. Then I can have floating point numbers if I want to have. So point digits, 3.2, 3.276 or something like that, some. So I can have mention them as float or real or double precision. Then I can have character strings. So I want to have fixed length, so I can mention that this is what is the length, this is what char and maximum length, or I can spell it character and maximum length, or I want it to be varying, so var char n, and then varying I can say, or character varying, and n is the maximum length. So these are not much to explain here, self-explanatory. I'm just mentioning them for your ease. Bit string data types. So I can have bit strings of fixed length, of varying length. So I can have varying length, I can have. So this is how I can boolean values, true or false if you want to take it, or null. So boolean values. Okay. So the data type can be boolean. Then date data type. Date data type always takes the entry in this format. This you have to remember, that it takes the entry as YYYY. So it can be 2007 and month is 10, that means October, and date is whatever, like maybe 5. So this is what it is. So you have to mention it in this format. Okay, we are used to writing it opposite, DDMMYY, but it is YYY here and mm and dt. Okay, so this is what is about date. And then additional data types can be timestamp, and then you can have interval. Interval is a patch of time, specifies a relative value, so you can add or subtract certain time interval, so that is interval. Okay, timestamp talks about date and time fields both. Okay, so as and when we use it, we will definitely have a clearer picture as to how it looks, how it is, what is the usage and all that. As per now, you just remember that these are all the data types. Okay, and then the next one is wherein I'm trying to give some domain name. Okay, so for example, we had given for the various constraints also name. So domain is nothing but one column, right? So we have seen this, what is domain. So I can give the domain also some name. So I can create domain this as character, so I can mention like this. So this is also possible. So with this I finish my lecture, and in the next lecture we will take up the execution of the commands. Hope by then you will go through all my previous lectures and this lecture as well, and get proficient in at least the theoretical knowledge of whatever is required for us to start our session. And see you in the